to another episode, nieces and nephews, of Crawl Before You Ball, relationships, love, and money. I'm Auntie Buffie, and this podcast is brought to you by the Acast Podcast Network. All right, so I'm about to dish out some unfiltered, probably unsolicited in some cases, auntie guidance, because that's what I do, and you need it. It's about needs and not just wants, darlings. If you want to ask Auntie Buffie a question, all you need to do is text CBYB to 404-737-1091. And guess what? We might just feature your question on an upcoming episode of Crawl Before You Ball. All right, buckle up, darlings. It's about to get real. I'm about to break it all down. Oh, and if you're new here, the reason you should listen to TT, let me go through it. One, I was a licensed tax professional for 20 years. I own a mortgage brokerage firm for 20 years. I also was a life insurance agent, property and casualty agent, and a health insurance agent. So I walk it like I talk it. I'm not just running my mouth. Oh, and I forgot the most important part. I've been married for 20 years happily and with my husband for 25 years total. So let's get into the show, boo. I have a great niece coming up next. You're going to love her. But first, Auntie's got to give you your daily dose of vegetables. Before we get into the kicking and having fun and talking and cutting up, again, I'm going to give you what you need, not just what you want. So today, Auntie's vegetable for you for this week, your veggies, your financial veggies for this week. My way of paying down debt. You know, you hear all these folks out here in the media where they're like, oh, do this, do that, do the avalanche method with credit cards or the snow this and that. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I understand. I live in the real world. Sometimes there just ain't no there. So the first thing that we must do is determine our liabilities. Not our liar abilities. I'm going to say that one more again. Our liabilities, not our liar abilities. You know how we lie to ourselves and say, oh, well, you know, my student loan payment is $1,200 a month, but, you know, I could go 2 months without paying it before they come hunt me down. That's a liability. We need to know exactly what your liabilities are every month. We've got to put a budget together with actual factual information and not play around. And the only way you're going to be able to do that, darling, is you're going to have to push up your sleeves, sit down, and do the work. And in my book, Crawl Before You Ball, I talk about the importance of determining needs and wants. And that sounds really easy, but it's not. It really isn't. A lot of people think that things that they want are things they have to have in this world. And Auntie's about to break it down for you right now. A need is something that you have to survive. Like a roof over your head, clothing on your back. And it got to be name brand clothing. You just got to put some clothing on your back so you're not out in these streets and get arrested for indecent exposure. Food and water, right? Wants are things that we see on Instagram that other people have that we desire. Desires and needs are very much different. And so when you reframe and refocus your mindset on wants and needs, budgeting will be easy. So I always, when I was in practice, had my clients do the following when they came to me and asked for financial advice. Take your last 3 months' bank statements. I want you to print it out. Auntie's very tactile. It needs to be old school paper. Print out your last 3 months' bank statements. Print out your last 3 months credit card statements from all your credit card accounts, even the liability ones that's in collections that you ain't paying right now that need to be included in your real liabilities in this budget. Your cash receipts. So keep up with your receipts when you're out here using cash paying for stuff. And I want you to go through the painstaking process of going through every line item of your expenses and determining, okay, coffee, I got coffee. Is this a need or a want? And listen, I'm not like Dave Scamsy Ramsey and all them people that say you can't never go out and get, coffee or you can't live your life. I live in the real world. This is just about determining how much you spend on things that you would categorize as a need versus things that are a want. We want them put in 2 buckets because what you want to do is you want to budget for your needs and you want to budget for your wants. So you have a healthy balance in your life. So go through each bank statement, each line item, each credit card statement, each line item, and decide what is a need and what is a want. Guess what? Auntie can help you with that also, because I have a free link. We'll provide it below where you can use my needs versus wants spreadsheet. And when you type things in, you can just add the character N for a need, W for a want. And when you finish, you will see the percentage of your income that you spend per month on needs and wants. And let me tell you, after you go through those 3 months of bank statements and you sit down and you have to do all this work and you see how much you spend on wants, and those wants you could have allocated for savings, for a family trip, for sending your kids. Sometimes people see, oh, I got enough money to put my kids in private school. Or I got enough money to actually pay down my credit card debt. You're going to be surprised with how much you're spending on wants every month. And again, it's about balance. I'm not saying that you can't ever have fun. It's crawl before you ball, not crawl and limp your way to a horrible, boring death. I'm not saying that. It's just practice earning, saving, balling occasionally, budgeted balling, repeat. Earn, save, ball occasionally, repeat. And budgets are freedom. People think that budgets are like restrictive and a bad thing. They're not. They provide you with a roadmap for financial success. You can put in your budget, this is how much it costs us to be us every month in needs. We got to have food. We've got to pay the water bill. We got to pay the utilities. We got to make sure these kids have all their supplies for school. The things that you have to have, that's fine. But you also budget for your wants. You might need to scale them back a bit to achieve your long-term financial goals and some of your short-term financial goals, but it's not limiting. It really isn't when you include both and you have a happy balance. And then you don't feel like you're missing out. You don't have that fear of missing out because everybody else is doing X, Y, and Z. No, you have a plan and then you stick to that plan. And in that plan, you put, maybe twice a month, we go out and kick it with friends and go out to dinner. It's in our budget. This is the exact amount of money we can spend when we go out with said friends for this budget. And you stick to that. And for me, it's comforting because I feel good and I can pat myself on my back and say, hey, I had a short-term goal and a long-term goal, and my husband and I are sticking to this plan. And you'll be surprised. You think that only working class people need to have a budget. Everybody has a budget. Wealthy people have budgets also. I used to have business management clients who were celebrities that I put on a budget. I would shut their credit card off at a certain amount of spending. Everybody needs help in this way. So don't feel like, oh, I'm a loser, I'm missing out because I got to have a budget. No. Folks that's smart with their money, who let their money work for them instead of them working for their money, operate with a budget. All right. So what did we learn? We're going to earn, save, ball occasionally, which means planned balling, budgeted balling, repeat. Earn, save, ball occasionally, plan balling, and repeat. And we're going to determine needs versus wants. And you really need to spend some time on that and use Auntie's guide of clear cut. A need is something you must have to survive. A want is something you desire. And when you go through all your expenses and you look at certain categories of expenses that you have and you say, yeah, I just wanted that. That's not something that if I don't have on a daily basis, that's going to cause me health problems or my world is going to end. It really helps you put things into perspective, and then you can really set yourself up for financial success with short and long-term goals. All right. Thank you. I love you so much. Smoochy, smoochy, smoochies. Don't be mad at TT. You need your vegetables. I just gave you a weekly dose, and now we're going to get and kick it and have fun and kiki and ka. Okay? All right, y'all just had your vegetables. I promise you now we're about to have good fun with one of my nieces, your cousin, Chiffon. Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
Well, Buffy, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so thankful that you're here today, and I'm so excited to chat with you. So I hear you have some questions for me. What's your first question, darling?
Sure. So, Buffy, my husband and I have been married for 11 years. He's into frugal spending, and I'm more like, okay, we have invested in real estate. I'm selling international real estate. You make six figures. We should be able to spend some money.
Mm.
And so he's more into frugal spending. I'm more like, okay, we're earning enough to kind of not not go overboard, but to splurge just a little bit. What are your thoughts on that, Buffy?
Okay, so before I get into your question, I gotta shout out my niece. Wait a minute. We own properties and we sell property. Tell me about your business, honey. You know, Auntie got to be proud now. Tell me about what you got going on. You're a real estate agent.
Yes, so I'm an international real estate agent. That happened recently. When I met my husband, we were landlords. We owned three family properties, and that got a little crazy. So we decided to own a home, just a single family, rented out a tenant. I'm sorry, who actually helps pay half of our mortgage.
Love
And
it.
still makes his, earned income. He makes six figures, and I'm currently doing international real estate in Ghana, Dominican Republic, and recently Dubai.
Nice. Okay. All right. Proud auntie moment. Yes, no. Okay, so I'm gonna get I gotta get all in your business and I gotta shout out and when
I
I
love.
see my nieces doing well, I got to let the people to know. So okay, so you are Miss Spendy and he is frugal. You like money is earned to be spent.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like we're still growing, right? But I feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, and sometimes, yeah, I just feel like we could spend a little bit. He's more like save for emergencies. We could still own more properties, maybe own properties internationally. We should be saving for that opposed to bowling out. You know what I mean? And I think
Mm-hmm.
not too much, not too much, just like a little here and there, little vacation with the kids, stuff like that.
Okay. So do y'all have a budget that incorporates having a little bit of balling, a little bit of fun, a little bit of vacations, a little bit of going out to eat, a little shopping? Does your budget incorporate wants or is it just needs?
So it's incorporating now after over 11 years, it's incorporating a little more. Like I'm learning like you can kind of do both, right? You can have the wants and you can have the needs. But that also goes to my next question, Buffy. Like I had decided to take myself off of our joint account.
Uh-huh.
So like I didn't understand that wants and needs, type of I didn't have that mindset. And so my next question is now that I'm getting there slowly, like you can have fun, but like if you go on vacation, it don't have to be 3 or 4 times a year. It can be maybe once a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's the question, and you can answer, as one question at a time if you need to. But it's like, do you think I should put myself back on a joint account now that I'm better at spending? I'm getting better.
Okay, so wait, I'll answer that and then I'm gonna go back to the other question. So I am a big fan in marriages of having a joint account just for the marital expenses, like
Okay.
the mortgages, grocery, like credit cards, and all of that. And so each party deposits whatever they're gonna deposit toward the monthly needs for the family, and that is all that comes out of that account. But
Okay.
then it's fine for each party to have their own separate checking account because you're still an individual. I mean, you're married, but you're still your own person. And in our household, we allocate out of our salaries a portion, we call it our allowance. The allowance that goes to each of our personal accounts that we can spend on whatever we want to spend on and not have to clear with each other. And so it creates the individuality that you still need to have in a marriage with your
Mhm.
own account that nobody's eyes is on except yours. And you can do whatever you want with. And then the joint account where we take care of our responsibilities. And we do the same with like investments and brokerage accounts and all that. When you're married, you're a team. And yes, we should join these things, but you should also have your own private. Because what if you want to buy your husband a gift? You don't want him to see what you bought. What if you want to save up for something special for him and the kids and you not hide it, but you don't want them just to see that you're doing. You want to have your own account, and there's nothing wrong with that. In terms of you getting added back to the joint account, if you're just going to be added to the joint account just in name only, I say yes. If it's working for y'all where your husband's doing managing all that, then that's fine. But you do need to be on the account. I'm a big proponent of when you're in a marriage, even if you choose one person who's better at budgeting and does all that stuff, everybody needs to be on every account. Everybody needs to know where all the money is, where the expenses are, where the will is, where the trust is, where the life insurance policies. Because if one of you becomes incapacitated, you need to know how to handle things. And I saw many times in my practice where a husband would pass away sadly, and the wife who was living a soft life and never, experienced paying bills or knew anything about it, didn't know if they had life insurance, didn't have access to the checking account, and was completely lost. So to answer your question, yes, add yourself back onto the joint account. But if it's working where he's taking care of it, then that's totally fine.
Okay. I
And
like that.
then Oh, great. And then back to the original question about you guys having the difference in being frugal and being a saver. It's the same in my marriage. I'm the crazy. We probably would live in a trailer if it was up to me, if trailers were appreciating assets. And my husband is like, whatever, we work hard. We should be able to, go on vacation to France for a month. And, we put together a happy medium with that, in that we incorporate both of our needs and wants in our budget within means. And so we have a date night where we go over our budget once a month. And that is something that you and your husband can do, and do it from home. Have dinner brought in, have a glass of wine if you drink, and sit down and say, these are our goals, our short-term goals for this quarter or this year. This is what I want. This is what you want. And then y'all vote on it and put the budget together, so that neither one of you are feeling like you're not getting what you think you're supposed to get out of life. Because if you're working all the time and you don't feel like you getting anything out of busting your behind selling real estate, your husband doing his thing, then you'll get burnt out. And so it is very important to incorporate both in your family budget. And if you have a question for Auntie Buffie, please text CBYB to 404-737-1091, and I just might feature your question on an upcoming episode. Thanks so much, Chiffon, and good luck. I'm so proud of you. Now, you're a real estate agent international. Where can the people find you, honey?
Absolutely. So you're gonna go to underscore Shrinko on Instagram. That's my Instagram handle. Underscore Shrinko.
Spell that, darling.
Sure. CHRENCO.
All right, we'll shout you out. All right, thank you so much, darling. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I really appreciate you being on the show.
All right, Auntie Buffie, we have some questions that need answers.
All right, Cole, what you got for me, girl?
Dear Buffy, I have over $100,000 in student loan debt that I have been deferring since I graduated almost 15 years ago. My husband thinks I should start paying them, but I don't see the point. Is there a benefit to paying them, or can I defer them forever?
Niece, now you know I'm about to cuss you all the way. Girl, I love you. But Auntie gonna keep it 100% real with you. You gotta pay them darn student loans, darling. No, you can't defer them forever. Technically, yeah, you probably could do some, keep doing whatever you're doing, but ultimately, they're gonna want their money. And so, even if you're not looking at it in that way, having that big debt is causing you problems financially in terms of long-term goals. If you want to buy other things, you got a mortgage worth of debt with student loans, and yes, you've got to pay them off, darling. Kudos to you for being smart and playing the game and getting deferred for 15 years. But it's time to put on our big girl pants and start paying our debt. Your husband is absolutely correct. Delaying that indefinitely, all that happens is extra interest, penalties, all that stuff gets added on, and it makes your balance even higher. So you need to consider creating a repayment plan, maybe getting it refinanced if you're eligible to do that. But you definitely need to pay your student loans off, darling, in the long run.
All right, your next question comes from your Crawl Before You Ball text community.
Hi, boos. And you can text me too, CBYB at 404-737-1091.
My current credit score is 580. I have about $3,500 in credit card debt that should be completely paid off in 3 months. How can I increase my score to 700?
Great question. Great question. And thank you for your honesty, darling. So, number one, credit is a snapshot of your current financial picture. So really it doesn't matter until somebody's looking at it. So if you have some goal of why other than I just want to have a 700 credit score, of maybe I want to buy a house, or I want to get a new car, or I want lower interest rates, you need to put a plan together to get there, and also have the spirit of patience and understand that it takes time for credit scores to rise. I would say don't use any of those scamming companies. You can do this yourself. And the best way to do it is go ahead and start achieving new credit, getting some new credit. A lot of people think, well, I got a horrible score and all I'm eligible for are these cards that give me maybe a $300 limit or a $500 limit. Well, baby, you got to crawl before you ball into a platinum credit card. And so it's baby steps. So in addition to paying off the debt like you're doing, and I would say do it over the 3 months. Don't do it, even if you have all the money at one time, don't do it all at one time. If you've got a plan for 3 months and you it's not going to cause problems in your budget. Plus, like I said before, credit is a depiction of your ability to repay debt over time. And so when you're showing that you can repay debt over time, that shows up great and favorably for you on your credit report. If you were to pay it off at one time, it's going to reflect great too, but it'll just look like maybe you had a windfall 1 month. If you do it over 3 months, that's showing you put a plan together and you're paying it over time. So stick with that plan. Then also, go on and start getting some of these other credit card offers that you get, that may be a secured card or it's some credit card with a high interest rate and a low whatever. It doesn't matter. Get the credit card with the high interest rate and the low balance, high credit. And let's say they give you $500. Charge up that $500 the first month. Then pay their interest payment. So maybe it's $25 or $50. Pay that the first month. Then the next month, pay off the balance of that credit card. Then the month after that, charge it back up. Pay the interest payment, then the next month pay it off. And if you keep doing that every month, the credit reporting agencies and that credit card company will see that you're demonstrating an ability to repay debt over time, and they will raise your credit limit. And when you get a raise in your credit limit, your scores go up. And then you just keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that as your budget allows, and you'll be at that 700 credit score in time enough. Thank you for your question, darling. If you have a question, you can text CBYB to 404-737-1091. Y'all got Auntie all the way messed up. All the way messed up. What y'all doing with Klarna and Afterpay? It's basically the new layaway, and I'm not happy about it. Auntie's not happy about it. Y'all like, look, Auntie, it's like some of them say 0% APR, blah blah blah. They don't charge you if we pay it off. But y'all know y'all up to tomfoolery and closing accounts and switching bank accounts by the time the payment come due, and then they hit y'all with a whole bunch of penalties and all this mess. Why are y'all doing this? Why are y'all doing? It ain't like y'all out here buying food with it, even though I have heard some of these grocery stores now taking Afterpay and Klarna. Child, it's a setup to keep you in debt and keep you. You know why people want you to be in debt? So they can make you work for them. Because America only thrives when we got a working class, okay? What you want in life, nieces and nephews, is to get to a place where you paid off all your debt and you can work when you want to and do what you want to do. And so don't fall for the trap. Now, listen, I get it. You need a new alternator, your car broke down, something happens, and you haven't crawled before you ball, and you don't necessarily have all your ducks in a row so that you can lean against your savings account or your emergency fund, or you can leverage a credit card with a 0% APR to take care of that expense. I get it. Auntie lives in the real world. But Klarna and Afterpay and all them services like that, that's not it. And I'm hearing, because y'all know y'all been telling TT in the DMs that y'all buying. Y'all getting rims and clothes and gaming systems and jewelry and all the tomfoolery that you don't need. These are all wants. And these companies know that. It's a marketing gimmick. It's a instant gratification set up for failure kind of situation. It's like, it's a fake credit card is what it is. It's kind of like when they created debit cards, and I talk about this in my book, Cry Before You Ball, where I imagine some dark room with a whole bunch of old white men smoking cigars, and they're like, you know what? Let's come up with this new shiny card and make people think that this debit card is a credit card, but really it's not. And so they'll go out and spend like it's a credit card, and then we can charge them fees when they overspend from their account. It's the same kind of concept. It's like, instead of getting yourself in debt with Klarna and Afterpay and doing all this stuff, you could get a regular credit card, which reports on your credit bureau, which is a benefit to you. and you can work to pay down debt and demonstrate that you can pay credit over debt over time and raise your scores and leverage that to your advantage. Ain't nobody reporting when you pay Klarna to no credit bureaus. Y'all know that, right? Nieces and nephews. Ain't nobody reporting when you pay afterpay to no credit bureaus. Y'all know that, right? So what's the benefit? What's the benefit? Just the instant gratification? I'd rather you put the time and energy in working on your credit, something that you can leverage for long-term financial stability. Because realistically, wealthy people don't use their own money. I'm always telling y'all, use other people's money as long as the interest rate is 0 or close to 0. Back when they were giving mortgages out for 2%, I was like, y'all better get a house. Y'all better refinance at 2%, pull all that money out of that house and stay and never leave. And some of y'all listen, and that's what y'all did, and then take that money and go invest it in the markets. Stop the tomfoolery. Auntie is very disappointed about y'all out here with all these wants, living this Instagram life, this TikTok life, and showing people all this and that, and you ain't got a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out. And then when the people come calling for their money, y'all up to the stunts and changing bank accounts and all the tomfoolery and acting like a scammer. No, y'all know better than that. Stop it, okay? Klarna, Afterpay, all those type of services, it's a setup. And again, I say this with love, even though I'm fussing at you. Stop. It's not a good financial move. You're better suited in putting time and effort in repairing your credit. And don't go get them scamming companies. There's plenty of information on the internet. You can get Auntie's course, you own credit. It's so many resources out there for you to learn how to repair your own credit yourself. You don't need to go out here and pay these people and then they don't do it, or they take your information and then mess you up even more. Don't fall for it. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Empower yourself. You can do it. And if you have questions, you could always text TT, CBYB 404-737-1091, and I got your back for the free. Okay? Love it. All right, nieces and nephews, we come to Auntie's assignment. We had a great episode. We had my lovely niece who is balling and selling property all over the world. Baby, Auntie couldn't be even more proud. But I want to recap everything. You've got to do your homework. Like, we don't just do this just for kicks and laughs. It's edutainment, okay? I want you to take something away from each episode of Crawl Before You Ball. And so we talked about determining needs versus wants. Y'all know what a need is, something you got to have to live. A want is a desire. I want y'all to work on that, okay? We have my spreadsheet available that will be in the links below for you. It's a free download. I hope you'll use it. If you have questions, reach out to my team via the texting group, and we're happy to help you. We talked about having a date night where you get a lovely glass of wine if you drink and order food in, and you and your spouse talk about, or your significant other if you're shacking, because also that's commingling finances and you need to do the same. You sit down and you are grown-ups and you talk about what your short and long-term goals are. You make sure that everybody feels like they've been heard, and you put a budget together to meet everybody's needs. Student loans got to be paid off, y'all. Quit playing with them government. Don't play with them private companies. Don't play with the government. You got to pay them student loans off. Okay. Now, we hope that one day these people in Washington will wipe away student loan debt. But until then, put a plan together and pay. Make sure you're paying your payments monthly. Okay. Quit deferring forever. That ain't cute. I'm not happy about that. And if you want to have credit, you've got to get credit. So I know you feel like, I got a 580 credit score, and the only thing I'm getting are these horrifically high interest rates and low credit amounts. Baby, you got to crawl. You can't run when you done messed up your credit. You got to start somewhere, and that's okay. It's fine. Call Before You Ball is all about understanding that it's going to take time to get to your goal. So go on and get that high interest credit card. That's fine, darling. Take that credit card, charge it up, Pay the interest payment for 1 month, the next month pay it off, and keep doing it every month, and you'll see that your scores will go up because they're going to raise your limit. And when your limits start raising and they see that you're demonstrating an ability to repay debt over time, that's when you have the power, and you can call them and say, hey, I need you to reduce this high interest that you have on this credit card, or I'm going to transfer my balance to another card that's offering me at a lower rate. That's when you have power, nieces and nephews. And remember, Auntie's way of life is earn, save, ball occasionally, which means plan for your balling, put it in your budget, repeat. Earn, save, ball occasionally, and repeat. And that's it. That's your assignment for this week. I love y'all with all my heart. I appreciate you for catching this episode. If you love what Auntie is doing, please, please, please share, like, subscribe, do all the things. Download this podcast wherever podcasts are. Buy Auntie's book. Show me some love. Give me some comments. Rate the show, do all the things. I have a credit course. I've got the Crawl Before You Ball course. We have all the resources here to help you. And obviously, always use the texting group, 404-737-1091. I'll see you next week. I love you very much. Smoochies.